Hi guys, I'm Darren, and in this video we're checking out the Baby AR Wing Pro. So this is a model that I've had a bit of interest in since GetFPV accidentally posted the link to this product on their website too early. I was pretty interested because it's small and potentially I could take it with me on my motorcycle and go fly, that sort of thing. So it's one of those that I'm pretty keen to take a look at. And after seeing Lee at Painless 360's video, it's definitely one that I wanted to take a look at myself. Now, just to be open, this has been provided to me by Banggood for review, and in the video description I'll put a link to a discount code so you can get a bit of money off if you choose to buy it through them. But they've provided it to me to take a look at. So let's stop talking and let's head over and have a look. Right, so here we have it. Big performance in a small package. So will it actually live up to this? Let's have a look. I mean, we can see already it is just a shrunk down AR Pro as far as the visuals go. So let's take a look in the box. Now this is the PNP version. There is also a kit version. So in the box we get some stickers. Now, to be honest, I'm not overly bothered by these stickers. Some people might like them, but they're just not really my cup of tea. We get some more stickers. Shiny SonicModell stickers. And this is probably the most important part. This is the instruction manual. So this shows how to fit it all together, gives you the CG. It gives you some channel numbers for a standard receiver. So this is using the AETR layout. And it gives you recommended throws. Good. There, so 9mm in each direction recommended. It gives you recommended throws for the pitch. Doesn't say anything for the roll, so we can assume that it's a 50-50 mix in this case. But there we go. So there is a quick build guide. There is some specs down here, which we'll take a look at. So this is EPP. It has a 682mm wingspan, which is a bit bigger than the original Mini AR wing. So some of you may remember the original Mini AR wing. Now I've got one of these up behind me which has been flying and bashed, so this may be a replacement for that. And it's actually slightly bigger as far as like wingspan goes. This is a 682mm wingspan where the original was about 600. But the funny thing is it has actually got quite a small motor on. So it's a 1406 38,000 kV. So this is the same motor that we get on the Dart 250G and the Talon 250G. And this plane is a fair bit bigger. So one of my concerns is that this is not enough motor for this plane. The original Mini AR wing came with an 1806 2400 kV motor. So a bigger physical motor and a lower kV. That size motor makes a bit more sense. Unfortunately, you can't get that size motor anymore. I've tried to find a replacement. You can only really get bigger or smaller. So that may have been why SonicModell have gone down this route. But SonicModell also make their own motors, so they could potentially have gone for that sort of 1806 2400 kV size, and then people would have been able to buy spares for their Mini AR wings. But anyway, moving on, we have the propeller, which is a 4x2.5, which again is a tiny propeller. I really think that that's undersized for this plane, but we'll see what it's like in the air. The minimum recommended speed is 31 kilometers an hour. Maximum speed 100 kilometers an hour, which maybe with this power setup, that is about 60 miles an hour. That's quite slow. Cruise speed 40 kilometers an hour. Maximum takeoff weight 470 grams. So if people are looking at this for a 250G model, honestly, I don't think this is going to fit the bill. But it's going to be a nice sort of proximity aircraft is what I'm looking at it for. They've actually got reflex on the elevons 1 to 1.5mm. So that's nice that they've included that in the manual too. But anyway, that's enough paperwork. Let's actually get the foam out. Well, let's get the spar out. Woo! So yeah, carbon spar, boring but essential. All right, so bag of bits. So this model comes with some interesting ball links, which I like ball links, but I was a bit concerned when I saw the video that Lee put out. So you get a spare control horn and ball link, and looking at them here, they really are quite tiny. Yeah, that doesn't really inspire much confidence. But we get the attachment bolts for the wings. These wings attach in the same way as the original AR wing. All right, here's the prop, which again is tiny. It's 4 by 2.5, absolutely tiny. So this is the plug and play. So everything is going to be nicely connected for us, which you can see it is. So here are those really small ball joints, and well, actually I can see that already straight away that is not overly well secured in there, but that's quite wobbly. And there's quite a bit of slop in that linkage. In comparison, here is the smaller mini AR wing, where you can see we have no slop in that linkage. It has thicker control rods, it has a clevis rather than a ball joint, which in this case works absolutely fine. Yeah, it's just a bit more meaty, and you know, when we're saying this is a smaller plane, yeah, don't pay any attention to that motor. That's not the original. Let's have a look actually while we've got the two of the wing area. So the wing area is actually slightly bigger. So the other thing that I noticed is this. You see this gap? I really wasn't a fan of this. I can see again why they've done it so that this moves nice and freely, but you're going to lose flight efficiency with the airflow. I really think they should have just made this a thin, solid piece of foam. As it stands, I might have to get some like glider tape to put over the gap, because you're going to lose efficiency with this. It's really not a good idea. And they're pretty flimsy again. What are they like on here? Again, pretty flimsy, and much smaller control surfaces on this. Yeah, there is some carbon in there, but yeah, not a fan of these hinges, but it's not the end of the world if you put some tape over it. It just might be a bit of a pain around this. In the end of the wing, we have our servo wire. Also, we have the hole for the spar and the hole for the screw. So the screw just goes straight in from the body, and the wire just pokes through into the body. So there's no wing connectors on this, but to be honest, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Right, the other wing's exactly the same, it's just the other side. Now we have a little bag of goodies. These are the winglets. Now these you can see are just to be glued on. There's no little screws or anything. There's actually quite a nice thick recess in here, so you can get plenty of glue around that joint. So it should make these quite strong. People with the full size AR Pro know that those winglets that screw on, they aren't the best as far as attachment goes. These will be nice and solidly glued on, so yeah, that's good. And finally we have the body. So here's the motor, which you can see they've actually branded it as SonicModell 1406 1300 kV. That is a tiny little motor for this size plane. I am a little bit, well, not concerned, but I just don't think it's going to perform very well. You can see the AR Wing Pro styling here, the big exception being that the camera is in the center, but the same was true of the original mini AR Wing. And then here we've actually got loads of room. So the ESC is here. We've got 30 amp fly color. It doesn't say whether it's got BL Heli or anything like that on it. It is not really a fixed wing ESC because there's no real heat sinks on it. There's no capacitors on it either. So it is probably a more of a multi-rotor, but that might mean that it's got BL Heli on it. And an XT30, which is quite nice. If you're just flying this using a receiver, you don't need anything more than an XT30 in here. So just for comparison, I found the original motor that came off of the mini AR Wing. Now you can see, let's get it about level. That is a huge difference. That it's a massively bigger motor compared to this, and it doesn't really look like there'll be much scope for upgrading. Maybe a custom motor mount. There is a screw to remove the motor, but yeah, that's one of my concerns about this model, is the size of this. I guess if it's built really light, then it might be okay, But again, the proof is going to be in the flying, so I need to get out and fly this thing. But let's stick it together. Right, so that's that in place. Now, what sort of space do we have? I mean, the ESC could go back here. We got plenty of room. This is designed to be used with a 3S lithium ion pack, like an 18650 pack, which that plate looks more like for a 2S, to be honest. So yeah, that plate is more for a 2S, but they say it's made for a flat 3S pack. So yeah, that plate doesn't really make sense for the recommended battery. As far as the height goes, you're not going to get another one on top. Even sort of in the middle here, it's not going to happen. So it will need to be a flat pack or a very shallow triangle pack. And this is the pack I have in my mini AR wing, which there's going to be no chance of getting that in there at all. But having said that, 21700s flat shouldn't be a problem. So you could potentially put a 5000 milliamp hour pack in here. Right, so just to try this out, because probably this will be the biggest option that people will go for. That's a 3S 1P of 21700s. And that goes in there no problem at all. So that's not a problem. It's quite nose heavy. When all we've really got else to go in here is a flight controller, so that one would probably need to go to the back. Don't forget we've got an FPV camera that needs to go in here. So potentially your battery pack could be back here, and just, you know, sort out your own attachment, get rid of this and use Velcro or something. But yeah, that's probably the bigger option of the battery. As far as the camera goes, it is just made for a micro size FPV camera. So there's no specific digital features about this. There's plenty of space in this bay to put stuff. So the only other thing that I've noticed is the same as on the AR Wing Pro, is there's more air inlet than there is outlet, which means you're not going to get a nice through flow of air. Outlets should really be 3 to 4 times the size of the inlets. You will still get some cooling. It's not really going to be a huge deal, but the airflow potentially could have been a bit better. As a final thing, here's a size comparison. So let's try to get that in the same place. And without the winglets on, the mini AR wing looks the same size. So the only real difference in size is what these bits add. But the next stage is to get this built and get it in the air and take a look at that. But as far as quality goes, the foam is all there, all the components are there. SonicModell ZOHD have been making decent kits for a while now, so there's no reason to think this will be bad in a crash or anything like that. This one's lasted me years, and you can see the amount of hot glue and junk on it, and it still flies. We have the CG markers, same as on all the AR wings. So yeah, this will be a nice easy one to set up, which I will aim to do as quickly as possible. So there we have it. That's my first look at this little sibling of that one right there. So next I will be getting this up in the air. I'm going to try to start building it right now so I can get it done as soon as possible, and really want to get a flying video out for you guys as soon as. I know that in the past it's taken me a long time, but I really want to get this one done quickly. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that I've given my fair criticisms about this model, but I think, you know, it potentially could be a good flyer too. We'll soon find out. Fly models like you stole them. See you on the next one. Bye bye.